Labour warns of nationwide action over Rivers emergency rule. Small businesses in Niger State struggle as blackouts worsen. 3 to face prosecution over Osun communal clash, police say. And on the foreign scene, UN reduces Gaza operations as violence escalates. Hello and welcome to News Updates on Trust TV. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. The organized labor has strongly condemned the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State, warning that it may be forced to take decisive action that could disrupt national economic activities if the proclamation is not reversed within a reasonable time frame. The threat was contained in a statement jointly signed by the Rivers State chairperson of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Alex Agwanwo, State Chairperson of the Trade Union Congress, Ikechukwu Onyefuru, and Chairperson of the Joint Negotiation Council, Chukwu Emecheta. The labor unions raised concerns about the legality, economic impact, and consequences of the federal government actions. The organized labor described the declaration of a state of emergency and the suspension of the elected governor, Siminalayi Fubara, Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu, and House of Assembly members as premature and baseless. According to the union leaders, the people of Rivers State freely elected these officials, adding that any attempt to remove them outside constitutional processes undermines democracy. They insisted that such actions must be reversed to protect the integrity of Nigeria's democratic system. Meanwhile, the head of the Rivers State Civil Service, George Nwaeke, has resigned his appointment. The resignation of the HOS, who served under the suspended governor, Siminalayi Fubara, was contained in a statement issued by the Chief of Staff to the sole administrator and obtained by newsmen on Tuesday morning. The sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Etse Ibas, retired, thanked Nwaeke for his service to him within the short period since he assumed office, and wished him well in his future endeavors. Meanwhile, Ibas has appointed Professor Ibibi Worika as the new secretary to the Rivers State government. Worika's appointment was also contained in a statement from the office of the sole administrator, also obtained on Tuesday morning. Small businesses across Niger State are struggling as erratic power supply continues to disrupt operations. Frequent blackouts have forced many entrepreneurs to either shut down and temporarily or rarely on generators that are eating into their profits. The report.
Despite hosting 3 hydroelectric power dams and a 4th one coming up in Zungeru, Niger State struggles to enjoy 12 hours electricity daily, except for individuals connected to exclusive 33 kVA lines. Businesses that depend on electricity, such as tailors, barbers, and cold room operators, face biggest losses.
For more than 2 months now, we have not been having light. They used to bring it sometime in the night. Are we going to work in the night? We have many things we need to do with work, with light. We have not been getting the light. How do we want to survive? So, in fact, it's getting out of hand. I went to the market now to go and price generator. To fairly use generator, they are telling me 900,000 naira. Where will I get the money from to buy generator? I'm buying it again. How much are they selling diesel or fuel? So most of our customers, we have lose so many customers.
We don't have regular power supply here. If I buy ice fish and turkey to resell, they get spoiled easily. I buy chicken at the cost of 6,000 naira per kilogram, but sometimes I end up reselling at the rate of 3,000 to 4,000 naira when they start getting spoiled. At the end of the day, I don't make profit. If I store fish in the refrigerator, it takes 3 to 4 days of no power supply for the fish to remain edible. After those number of days, they will finally restore power, but interrupt it after just an hour. Sometimes I am forced to throw away some fish when they get spoiled. When I buy fish worth 70,000 naira to resell, sometimes I struggle to get back 60,000 naira.
Anything we do, we use electricity. Because due to the electricity, we use it to iron and everything. Because anything we sow, we have to go to the iron and iron everything so that to sort out everything. But due to the situation of electricity now, I can see that at least is very bad. Because even yesterday I was here, 12 on the night, waiting for the light up to 12:01. Because they didn't even bring the light, maybe it is almost 2 o'clock when I left home.
The situation of electricity here in Niger State, especially Minna, the capital city, has become a worrisome situation, especially for small business owners like us. It has chased away a lot of customers. When you're barbing or at the time you are working, the power supply will go, and with the condition, or let's say with the price of the fuel now, not everybody want to even, you will hardly go to barbing salon now and see a generator. Most of us are using the rechargeable clipper due to the high cost of fuel. But the lights that we are to use to augment even the rechargeable is not even there. They'll give you 4 hours, and when if they are giving you the light, is going to be whether in the night when you have closed from the work. So seriously, it has become a very, very worrisome situation for us here in Niger State.
Residents also battle extreme heat in their homes, making steady electricity supply a necessity for households.
Even the Consumer Protection Agency is not helping matters. This Consumer Protection Agency should help the customers. We are paying for the service we are not enjoying. So I think a lot of needs to be done with this country. We are not really enjoying. Even since the advent of this democracy, I ask myself, what has the poor man enjoyed from 1999 till date?
See, it has affected virtually almost everybody, not just the business people, even the normal resident, the normal members of the community. You see, these days, the heat is much, and you cannot even sleep at your house comfortably. You have to come out, and you see all these phone snatchers. Of course, you cannot sleep at the door at your doorstep comfortably. You have to just manage and stay in the heat. At the end of the day, it results on different health challenges.
Despite government assurances of improved power supply, residents and many small business owners say there's still little change. Abubakar Akote, Trust TV News, Minna.
The House of Representatives has passed 39 constitutional amendment bills for second reading, addressing key areas such as the judiciary, legislature, security, and electoral reforms. House Leader Julius Ihonvbere led the motion for their second reading. The report.
Among the proposed amendments, one bill seeks to make the recommendation of the National Judicial Council mandatory for the removal of heads of Nigerian courts. In the area of legislative reforms, another bill proposes empowering the Chief Justice of Nigeria to issue a proclamation for the inauguration of a new National Assembly. Security reforms are also in focus, with the House approving the second reading of a bill that seeks to establish state police and local government police. Additionally, lawmakers are considering the creation of a political parties registration and regulatory commission to enhance the regulation of political parties in the country. Other bills among 39 passed for second reading include provisions for 6 special seats for interest groups, persons with disabilities, and gender equality within the composition of the Federal Character Commission.
Those in support of this motion that will be read the second time say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The bills are referred to Committee on Constitutional Review.
A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to make recommendation of the National Judicial Council mandatory for the removal of office of heads of Nigerian courts and for related matters. Second reading. A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Cap C23 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2024 to provide for the establishment of the Ecclesiastical Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory Abuja and the Ecclesiastical Court of Appeal of the States and for related matters. Second reading.
The Committee on Constitutional Review is now set to examine the 39 bills in detail before making legislative recommendations, after which the House will take final decisions on them.
In Borno State, the State Ministry of Health says it recorded 3,902 tuberculosis cases that were contained in the last quarter of 2024. It disclosed this during the commemoration of the 2025 World Tuberculosis Day with the theme, Yes, We Can End TB, Commit, Invest, Deliver Health in Maiduguri. It revealed that Nigeria ranks 6th in the world and number 1 in Africa and called on partners and stakeholders to intervene in reducing the leading death disease in Nigeria. The Borno State Ministry of Health said the state has been recognized as the best performing state against tuberculosis and called on stakeholders to maintain this status, stressing that treatment remains free across its health facilities. He attributed the success to the 15% budget allocation to the health sector.
Recently, the state TB program received 8 TrueNet machines and 5 portable digital x-rays, which are fully functional and will significantly increase TB detection and notification in the state. 5 radiographers were recruited and trained to operate the PDX machines for community intervention.
And that partnership, that capacity building, provision of tools, strengthening support supervision, and many other activities have led to significant increase in TB test notification in Borno State. And for us, WHO and other partners, we will continue to support the government of Borno State to ensure that not only TB, but also other communicable and non-communicable diseases are given adequate attention.
Still in Borno State, the state government has appealed to donors and partners to fill the funding gap left by the exit of USAID, which has supported health, education, agriculture, and other humanitarian interventions. The government made the appeal during the conclusion of flood intervention in affected communities. The project targeted households affected by the September floods that displaced millions and destroyed houses and critical infrastructures in Borno. The project provided support to households with non-food items such as wash materials, rehabilitation of water facilities, cash, and livelihood support for 3,000 people. The coordinator of Borno State Agency for Coordination of Sustainable Development Partnership and Humanitarian Response, Gambo Bulama, stressed that the pullout of USAID funding has severely affected humanitarian response and various sectors across the state, with health being the worst hit. He urged donors to continue their support, stressing that conflict-affected communities are in their need of assistance.
As of now, the OTP centers have been closed. Many of these OTP centers have been closed down. The primary healthcare centers have been drying up because of the withdrawal of these organizations in these facilities. I'm also appealing to other donors that are funding some of these organizations to fund them so that they should continue with the activities, so that our people can also benefit of these humanitarian gates, because up to now we have a number of communities that need humanitarian assistance.
Presently, we're closing out the project today, and there's still a lot of need. There's still a lot of areas for support. There's still a lot of wash needs in the state, and in the areas of feeding, there's still areas of need for food and other aspects. Our partners need more funding and more support, and we advise that more support be given to the government and other partners to fill in these gaps, because the humanitarian need is still there.
The police in Osun State say they have arrested 3 suspects in connection with the communal clash that has rocked the Ifon, Ilobu, and Iri-Osun communities in the state. In a statement, a spokesperson for the police in the state, Adeoye Adiola, said the 3 suspects will be charged to court for prosecution upon the conclusion of investigation. The animosity between Ifon and Ilobu towns reappeared recently and spread to Iri-Osun, leading to murder, arson, and destruction of properties. Adiola said the command has ordered the deployment of officers and men to the warring areas to restore peace, law, and order in accordance with its primary duty of protecting lives and properties. The PPRO assured that the command, in collaboration with personnel of other sister security agencies, will prevent further bloodshed and breakdown of law and order through strict enforcement of the 24 hours curfew declared by Governor Adeleke in the areas affected. In Lagos, the State Police Command has announced the arrest of 26 suspects in connection with a range of serious crimes, including murder, defilement, armed robbery, illegal possession of firearms, and drug-related offenses. The arrests were made over a 2-week period as part of ongoing efforts to ensure safety and security across the state. In a statement issued by the command's public relations officer, Benjamin Hundayin, operatives successfully recovered 4 firearms, 21 live rounds of ammunition, 6 vehicles, 1 cutlass, various phones, cash, and illicit drugs during operations linked to the apprehended suspects. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Olohundare Jimoh, reaffirmed the command's commitment to maintaining the current low crime rate in the state.
Amount. Further investigation led us to the arrest of 4 other suspects who participated in the robbery. They are Babatunde Ibrahim, age 23, Michael Odova, age 24, Seidu Abba, age 20, and John Wisdom. All were arrested in John Wisdom's apartment in Okota. Also found with them in the apartment was a locally made pistol and 4 live cartridges. Also, we have an interesting case of some robbers, arrest of some robbers and fraudsters. The State Criminal Investigation Department got wind of the activities of of a syndicate of fraudsters who specialize in robbing people of their foreign currency, jewelry, phones, ATM cards, and international passports.
And moving on to more stories, stakeholders in Nigeria's electoral process have been speaking on the need to regulate political financing as a step towards ensuring that elections are not compromised in the country. This comes on the heels of a report by Kimpact Development Initiative on campaign and political finance tracking for the Edo and Ondo state governorship elections, which revealed that an estimated 9.7 billion naira was spent across all political parties in Edo State during the 2024 governorship race, while 3.7 billion naira was recorded in Ondo State. Noel Sampson has more.
The report highlights that only major political parties accounted for bulk of these expenditures, leaving smaller parties struggling with limited resources. A deeper analysis of individual candidates' expenditures reveals that only a handful of candidates possess the financial resources to run competitive campaigns, raising concerns about the fairness of the electoral process. With the Anambra State governorship election approaching, the need to ensure a level playing field for all participants has got many asking how fairness can be achieved.
I think what we need to do is, since the laws are there, let us try as much as possible to see how we can adhere to this law, and anybody who violates this law should be heavily penalized. I think that is the only way we can, because we need to sanitize our electoral process.
We have a law already that provides regulation on how much, limits on how much candidates can spend for each elections, but obviously that is not being enforced. And I do believe that we have an opportunity now with the current electoral reform process, for one, a political party regulations commission to be established. Second is the Electoral Offences Commission, because parties breaching the candidates and parties breaching the expenses limit in the Electoral Act is an electoral offence.
So it's about having a whole gamut of attitudinal, ethical reforms for people, and this is where our religious leaders may come in, if they will listen to them anyway, because people will say politics and morality are oil and water, they don't mix. So how do you deal with this? I still believe our anti-corruption agencies and our security agencies have to lead the way, as well as our judicial system.
So our finding shows that we need to do more in terms of regulation. One of the things we have seen is that even over the years, the ceiling that has been provided by the Constitution, by the Electoral Act and other legal framework has not been adhered to. However, what happened? is nothing happens and then everything keep going on. So to minimize this monster is that we need to enforce regulation.
The Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Electoral Matters, Adebayo Balogun, outlines the step the House is taking to regulate political financing.
Yes, we are amending what defines, yes. But the issue is how do you really define the spending? How do you even capture the spending? The spending you spend every day, the money you spend every day, day-to-day spending that you cannot even easily track. Ordinary, even at the lower level as a councillor, within your area, when you enter a canteen, everybody wants you to pay for them. Where do you write all this? People that pay on your behalf, that spend money on your behalf, how do you even know? Someone will come to you maybe a year after the election and look at the souvenir printed during your election. You are not even aware. So these are all these things. So how do we want to, how are we going to present it in a way that will be able to be specific? That, okay, these are the areas we will consider as electoral spending. Or these are the other things we are doing just outside the electoral process. So it's still a very dicey thing. But by the time we start from somewhere, then we start redefining what will be captured.
It is widely acknowledged that political parties play a crucial role in sustaining democracy, with financial resources essential for their operations. However, while money is necessary, excessive spending can lead to undue influence and corruption, which undermines the democratic process. Therefore, regulating political financing remains a key safeguard against these threats. Well, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In business, oil prices rose on Tuesday for a fifth day on concerns that global supply will reduce after the U.S. announced tariffs on countries that buy Venezuelan crude. Brent crude futures were up 31 cents to $73.28 a barrel by 9:50 a.m. West African time as U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude climbed 30 cents to $69.41. The OPEC basket rose 2% to $74.9. The benchmarks gained more than 1% in the previous session after U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 25% tariff on countries importing oil and gas from Venezuela. Oil is Venezuela's main export, and China, which is already the subject of U.S. tariffs, is its largest buyer. Away from Nigeria, UN spokesperson Stephen Dujarric confirmed on Monday that Secretary General Antonio Guterres made the difficult decision to reduce the United Nations footprint in Gaza, even as humanitarian needs soar and concern over the protection of civilians intensifies. Dujarric emphasized that the UN remains committed to providing aid despite the operational reduction. The situation in Gaza has deteriorated rapidly following a week of heavy Israeli air and ground operations which have claimed the lives of hundreds of Palestinians. The Gaza Health Ministry reported that more than 60 people, including women and children, were killed in the past 24 hours alone. The overall death toll from 17 months of war has now exceeded 50,000. Dujarric called for an immediate ceasefire and urged all parties to respect international law. And in sports, Bafana of South Africa's road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup has hit a potential roadblock following a yellow card controversy surrounding midfielder Teboho Mokoena. Reports say Mokoena may have been ineligible to play in Bafana's March Day 5 clash against Lesotho, which could significantly affect the team's chances of qualifying. Mokoena received a yellow card in their March 1 against Benin and another in the following match against Zimbabwe. According to FIFA's regulations, a player who accumulates 2 yellow cards in separate matches must serve a 1-match suspension. This means Mokoena should not have featured in the Lesotho encounter. Despite the clear rules, Mokoena was included in the starting lineup for the March Day 5 match against Lesotho, playing 81 minutes before being substituted. If the reports are confirmed, this could be a violation of FIFA's qualification regulations, and South Africa may face a points deduction for fielding an ineligible player. And with that, we wrap up news updates on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms for more programs, news, and documentaries. I am Dr. Yakubu Zala. Bye for now.